What's up, everybody? It's video 44 coming at you with another video. Okay, so there were a few things that I didn't get a chance to speak about. Just so much news came in over the last 3 weeks in the NBA that some stuff just slipped past me. And one of the things I wanted to talk about, just real briefly, was congratulating LaMelo Ball for winning Rookie of the Year. Homeboy got it. He deserved to get it. I know that Anthony Edwards put on one hell of a display to in the second half of the season, particularly when Melo went down. He started coming into his own. So that was an arguable type of thing. You could definitely argue that he deserved it too. But ultimately, I felt like LaMelo Ball in the first half of the season made such an immediate impact and got the Charlotte Hornets as far as they got. I don't think they get as far as they did without him, and I think they would have gotten a lot further if he would have been healthy throughout. He did hurt his wrist, so it was one of those situations where you thought maybe he wouldn't win it. Competition started getting thick, of course, with Anthony Edwards. But all in all, the impact that he made and the effect that he had on winning and the effect that he had on other players, particularly Miles Bridges, was ultimately, in my opinion, what got him Rookie of the Year. I mean, you could just see the jump that Miles took. And, of course, credit to Miles himself for the jump that he made. But you can definitely see where a pass-first facilitating point guard who specializes in pushing the pace and stretching the floor, creating space, truly helped him and has sent his career into a much better trajectory than it was before the season began. So I do give LaMelo Ball some credit for that particular thing. Congratulations, LaMelo, Rookie of the Year, well deserved. One of the faces of the league going forward. The next thing I want to talk about was to congratulate the Detroit Pistons for getting the first pick in the draft. Now, I will admit, this has been one of the few drafts where I haven't even as much as glanced at of what's going on. I don't follow college basketball, so I'm vaguely familiar with the top guys at the draft. I got some homework to do, in other words. So I don't know. Maybe I'll do that homework. Maybe I'll just wait for the draft to come and just learn from there. It's something I enjoy quite a bit, but I just got a lot going on right now. So needless to say, my focus level isn't on studying. But I will tell you this. I've been hearing a lot about Cade Cunningham, and that dude is the truth. I know that for a fact. And I'm also familiar with Jalen Suggs. And I know he's the truth as well. So what I do know is that at least at the top of this draft, you got some star caliber, star quality players. And with Cade Cunningham particularly, what I'm hearing is people believe he's going to be a superstar. He's going to be one of them guys. So, congratulations to the Detroit Pistons, the Houston Rockets, the Cleveland Cavaliers, the Magic. Those were the teams that got in the first. Oh, the Toronto Raptors got the 4th pick, and the Magic got the 5th pick, and I think the 8th pick as well. So those teams look like they're going to be doing pretty good. I think the Thunder got 6 or something like that. The Warriors got the 7th pick, which is a pretty big deal. So I'm looking forward to seeing how things go, man. But yeah, this is just one of those weird years in regards to the draft where it kind of like the lottery snuck up on me. I didn't even know the lottery was going to be yesterday until it was like 15 minutes before the lottery. So I'm like, what the hell? I don't know. They just didn't really promote it as well, I guess, this year. Maybe it's because the NBA season has been condensed and we're like in the thick of the playoffs. But it seems to me that since I'm paying so much attention to the NBA, that information kind of would have came my way. So that was kind of weird. But either way, looking very much forward to the draft. I'm excited for Houston, particularly getting the 2nd pick in the draft, because Houston already has a bunch of talent that I've been talking about and raving about. And last year, even though they didn't win a lot of games, they found a lot of talent on their bench, and they're going to add to that. And so Houston's in a great spot with that 2nd pick in that draft. They get a fresh start on a full year with John Wall. He showed us he still has it. Obviously, Kevin Porter Jr. is a bona fide star prospect going forward. Clearly, he's a problem. I expect him to make all-star teams in his career going forward at some point, and maybe not right away, but he is that kind of guy. Of course, Christian Wood, exact same thing. Christian Wood probably even sooner. I expect Christian Wood to be an all-star probably next year. Like, literally, that dude is that good. And he missed a lot of time this year, but when he's on the floor, he's one of the more consistent guys. He's in that John Collins lane, in my opinion. He's like that. He's one of those guys where he doesn't have a sexy name yet, but let him get into a playoff situation where you get to see what he can do. like DeAndre Ayton's opportunity right now. Let him get in a real stage to show y'all what the Christian Wood experience is about, because that dude can play. And I like the Houston Rockets a hell of a lot. They got Kenyon Martin Jr., who is also a guy who showed us glimpses. Kelly Olynyk somehow turned into a star. Like, if you paid attention to the numbers that he and Christian Wood were putting up together, they were like identical. They're both fantastic floor stretchers, floor spacers, and guys who can do a lot for you offensively. So look at the Houston Rockets, man. They get the second pick in the draft to add to that group. They still got trade pieces like Eric Gordon, guys like a Daniel House, who's kind of taken some steps backwards in his career. I wonder if they're going to cut ties with him, what kind of value he has. I think he can play. I still think his upside is pretty good, and I still think that what I saw from him isn't gone. So there's a lot of stuff in that Houston team that you should like, and them getting the second pick in the draft is a big deal. So, and since we're talking about that, obviously I want to mention the Cleveland Cavaliers getting the third pick in the draft. I think about the Pistons haven't gotten the first pick in the draft since 1970. And then finally getting it now. And I look at a team like the Cleveland Cavaliers, it seems to be in the lottery. They've gotten the first pick in the draft like 4 times out of the last 10 years or something crazy like that. I just think that once you start having that type of success in the draft, that speaks obviously to the ineptitude of how you're running your franchise. Something needs to happen there. Something needs to happen on both sides of the fence. In other words, we got to regulate it so that the Cleveland Cavaliers aren't continuing to get top 3 picks every damn year. That's the first thing. And the second thing that needs to be fixed is the Cleveland Cavaliers. You can't continue to have great talent come into your organization and then continue to not become good enough for them to flourish into the players they need to become. You keep getting the first pick in the draft every year. These guys are never panning out to who they need to be. That's an organizational issue. There's been organizations who've had that in the past. The Sacramento Kings were known for that kind of thing. They shook that off in a way. I would expect to see the Cleveland Cavaliers start to shake that off. Got the third pick in the draft. They need to strike hot right here. I expect them to get a very good talent. And from here, I expect things to get better. It's just time, man. Every year, it seems like the Cleveland Cavaliers always get a pick. That's what I'm saying. And sometimes the player is really good. Sometimes they get an Anthony Bennett. Sometimes it's an Andrew Wiggins type of situation. But in this draft, like I told you guys, the top 4 or 5 guys look like they could really pan out to be something. Jalen Suggs is in that 3 range. I think that's a good spot for him. They got not Okongwu. What's the guy's name? I can't think of his name, but he's a shooting small forward last year in the draft. Of course, they got Garland the year before that. They just continue to have stockpile picks, man, and they're not doing it in a way that provides value. They just tend to luck out, and nothing ever seems to work out. So, yeah, man. Cleveland Cavaliers, I'm just looking for your team, your franchise to improve. Kobe Altman is your GM. I'm looking forward to seeing what he does. I'm a fan of his. So, yeah, it's time for some things to change in Cleveland. I'm sick of seeing y'all in the lottery, bro. And most importantly, at the top of the lottery. Everyone's sick of seeing them at the top of the lottery. Except for their fans, of course. So, and then I look at the Orlando Magic. And that's like the Orlando Magic to me are like a blank canvas. They found some players last year that they really, really like. Cole Anthony can play. They found a power forward dude. His name also starts with an O. I can't think of his name right now, but he's a power forward. Had a breakout year last year. They got what's the gentleman? Everybody's name escapes me right now, but he's coming back from the knee. The guy that had the knee injury after not kneeling in that situation. He'll be back. Stretch. Not stretch, but long arms. Defensive presence, open court threat. They have pieces that they can build around at this point. Mo Bamba had somewhat of a breakout year last year. I expect him to have a full breakout this year. So, they got some good stuff. And with them getting 2 of the top 10 picks in the draft, that's value. That's real value they're inheriting this season. I would try to see if I can package both of those picks and go higher. Maybe see if I can snatch one of these players that might be disgruntled, one of these young players that might get out of their teams. With those 2 picks, maybe I can swing and get something I really appreciate. I don't know. I don't want to throw names out there because the name I was about to throw out there is not somebody I give 2 picks for. But the point is there are going to be some guys out there that the Orlando Magic can try to swing for. They had success with Markelle Fultz, okay? and they have these 2 picks that are not top 3 picks, top 4 picks, but are in the top 10. What if they package those picks and try to swing for Ben Simmons and maybe something else to make it make sense? Because the Orlando Magic is the type of team where, as I said, they're a blank canvas. So if they bring in a Ben Simmons, the next thing they can do is start to surround him with whatever he needs over time. They don't have to rush it. They don't, they got the money to pay his salary. It's not an ideal salary. But the thing about Ben Simmons that you can appreciate if you're the Orlando Magic is his defensive intensity. And that's what they focused on over the last several years. Putting an emphasis on shot blocking and acquiring players with length. So if you add Ben Simmons to that mix, it's kind of on par with their philosophy in terms of putting defense first. So I don't know if they still have that same philosophy. I don't know if they still on that same type of time, so to speak. But over the last several years, I've paid attention to them doing that. So Ben Simmons fits. Like I said, they do have Cole Anthony. They do have Markelle Fultz, so it's not like they need a point guard. But I'm not one who believes that Ben Simmons is a point guard anymore. I'm more so along the lines of playing him in the forward spots. So, hey, I don't know what direction the Orlando Magic want to go in. Obviously, they're in an advantageous position with 2 high-quality picks and a young team. But, there are going to be some guys on the board, like a C.J. McCollum as well. There are other trade pieces that they can take them 2 picks or even one of them and try to swing for the fences and grab one of those guys. A guy like Pascal Siakam might be on the move. Maybe they could try to toss those picks, try to see if Toronto wants to try to do something. You know what I mean? There are going to be options for the Magic, and I just wonder if they're going to try to be willers and dealers in this offseason. Because what I know is, when you look at the Phoenix Suns, you look at the Atlanta Hawks, you look at the Milwaukee Bucks, you look at the Clippers, these teams all turned it around quickly, especially the Phoenix Suns. They was the second worst team in the league 2 years ago. And now they are favored to win the West. So as far as I'm concerned, that should give small market teams and teams that are struggling hope and somewhat of a blueprint for how to try to turn their situation around very quickly. So I expect for lesser teams that are used to being bad, try to win now. That's what I see here. Teams with young talent that you would think have a long window for development are going to try to close that window a little bit. They're going to try to shorten that time frame. So that's what I predict is going to take place. Yeah, man. So it's a lot going on, man. The NBA is exciting as usual. We got a good game coming on tonight. Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals between the Hawks and the Milwaukee Bucks. I think I'll make a separate video on my predictions on that. If I haven't already, I got to check. See, I might have already done that. But yeah, I want to talk about that. So I'm going to cut this off and immediately get to that now. My name is BDF44. Thank you for listening to my thoughts here. I'm out.